Welcome to another offline video. For this video, we have yet another Stars and Stripes matchup. On the left, we have Kuya playing Rosie the Riveter, an aggro fighter with 4 passive abilities called upgrades that ebb and flow as the game goes on. On the right, we have Trashjehn playing Wyatt Earp, a flexible ranged fighter who wins more by winning combat, with an ability that is sort of like a reverse Raphael. We'll be playing in the Alamo, which allows Wyatt Earp to immediately maneuver in and send Doc Holiday to attack. Doc Holiday attacks Wendy the Welder with I have 2 guns, one for each of you, into loose lip-sync ships. Firstly, a lot of Wyatt's cards' names are really long. Secondly, 2 guns is an unbelievable card with a 4 printed value, an incredible effect, and with 3 copies. Since Holiday dealt combat damage and won the combat, Showdown activates. He gains a free action to attack, and hits with the You're a Daisy if you do into Wendy. 4 damage goes through, and Showdown activates once more. You can only choose an option once in a turn, so Doc chooses to just jump 1 space. I wouldn't have minded the draw 1, since I don't think Rosie can afford to attack right now, but Rosie does decide to go in. She attacks with a D-Day into a Marshal and an Outlaw. D-Day is Rosie's X-Factor card, and is her equivalent to a beast form or larger than life. It's unpredictable, and can be used at 0 upgrades, or can be used at full upgrades to effectively add a +2 swing in HP, by healing 1 and dealing 1 more damage. Rosie attacks again with another D-Day into a Bring Him to Justice. D-Day does have a +1 value right now, but Bring Him to Justice is a 6 value defense so it doesn't matter. Rosie heals 1 and deals 1 damage to Wyatt, and also draws the revealed E award with one of the upgrade effects. We have a small error here, as Rosie plays Rapid Development in the middle of the combo turn, when D-Day only gives you a free action to attack specifically. In any case, Rosie finishes the combo with an Overrun into another Bring Him to Justice. No combat damage is dealt, but Overrun deals 1 damage after combat. It's a bit hard to explain Rosie's upgrades in the middle of the game, but basically, they each give her move tree, draw after attacks, +1 to attacks, and range attacks. A lot of attack modifiers. Doc Holiday immediately hits back with the You're a Daisy if you do into a Hasty Repairs. At this point, the match has evolved into a complete scrap fest, as both guys just want to hit each other as hard as they can, as often as they can. It's what can happen when you get 2 fighters with a lot of card draw against each other, though right now I believe Wyatt should be ahead. Showdown triggers, and Wyatt chooses a free action to attack. Wyatt hits with a You're just gonna stand there and bleed that goes undefended. At this point, it does seem that Rosie has overextended. Showdown goes through, and Wyatt hits again with an undefended 4 value second shot, bringing Rosie's HP down to 5. This is like what, turn 2? Wyatt hops 1 back, at least preventing Rosie from potentially destroying her own combo turn or something, though she does only have 1 D-Day left in her deck. Rosie activates an upgrade at start of her turn, meaning she is once again move 3. She steps back and just does a double maneuver here, recharging her hand. She doesn't move back too far though, as she struggles to find more cards. Wyatt doesn't have to worry about that though, and sends in Doc Holiday to attack with another 2 guns into technological superiority. The effect is cancelled but the combat damage is not. Showdown triggers, and Doc attacks with the last copy of 2 guns into a Hasty Repairs. Effectively, no damage is dealt as Rosie takes 3 then heals 3, but Showdown activates for the last time this turn. Funnily enough, the 1 printed value on Hasty Repairs is enough to take Wendy out. Rosie backs off. She's in a pretty risky situation here with 4 HP left and with no real healing options. Wyatt maneuvers to the white zone, then uses You Die First to pull Rosie in. It's hard to run from Wyatt when he has such strong map coverage with 2 ranged fighters. He attacks with a Marshal and an Outlaw into a defensive momentous shift, which actually becomes a 5 and would have stopped the red 5s from winning combat. Rosie does have to discard an E award from Marshal's effect, but with Wendy dead, it's just a boost/fodder discard anyway. A ranged Rosie takes the opportunity to hit with a 6 value full metal into an I'm Your Huckleberry, which is basically just a blank tree. Afterwards, she maneuvers out, knowing full well that her upgrades are all deactivating after this turn, and that she'll be a full-on sitting duck. Wyatt just does a double maneuver here, and Rosie does the same thing. Because of the HP difference, Wyatt can afford to slow down. When it comes back to Wyatt, he plays another copy of You Die First, pulling Rosie back into the white zone. He attacks with the red 5 into Rosie's feint, which is just a blank tree right now. Then, he finishes the game with an unfaintable gunfight at the OK Corral, which is guaranteed lethal if not defended with Hasty Repairs. That game went by pretty fast, so it's worth running it back with a game 2. This time, Rosie goes first, so she gets her upgrades going faster. She maneuvers in to attack Doc Holiday with a We Can Do It into a You're a Daisy if you do. Doc does fully defend, which is great for him, though it does mean You're a Daisy at least can't be used offensively. Doc hits back with a second shot into a 3 value full metal. Doc boosts with another Daisy, meaning second shot becomes a 5 and deals 2 damage to Rosie. Worth mentioning how Wendy is so far back this time to stop 2 guns from being such a problem. Wyatt attacks with the You're just gonna stand there and bleed into technological superiority. If you're seeing a trend so far with these 2 games, Rosie's defenses at few or no upgrades is really bad. Wyatt presses forward with a 5 red into Hasty Repairs, dealing 1 damage. For Rosie, Offense is the best defense, as she needs to pressure the opponent enough that they can't fight back. Rosie attacks Doc Holiday, which turns out to be a D-Day into an I'm Your Huckleberry. This is a 4 value D-Day, so Huckleberry doesn't trigger. Importantly, this also means all upgrades are activated. This means she can go after Wyatt for the rest of her attacks this turn, but she decides to go for Doc Holiday instead. The attack turns out to be an undefended 3 value Loose Lips Sink Ships. Weirdly, a bit unfortunate for Rosie here I think, as Loose Lips is just a blank tree with no card being played on defense. Rosie plays an EA Award to finish her turn, deactivating an upgrade and moving it back in the queue. Importantly, this means she can stay at 4 upgrades for her next turn. Though on the other hand, it does only delay the inevitable turn off for all the upgrades, so let's see what she can do with it. Wyatt maneuvers around, and Rosie boosts in with Arc Welding to reach Doc Holiday from range. The attack turns out to be an undefended D-Day, which is more than enough to take out a 4 HP Doc. Rosie also heals 1 and technically overkills by 1 damage. I don't mind going for Doc right there, as it means Wyatt now has a few dead cards in the deck with the 2 guns. Additionally, with Rosie being in this zone, she can still attack Wyatt with a free action from D-Day. She also could have just attacked Wyatt with a D-Day, but I think it worked out. Rosie attacks with a 6 value Full Metal into a Martial and Outlaw. Wyatt takes 3 damage and draws a card, which should hopefully let him do some counter pressure here. Wyatt attacks with a red 5 into Technological Superiority. Just a blank 3 card from Rosie, though she knew going in this would be her best defense. Wyatt attacks with an undefended Fan the Hammer, which deals 1 damage. It does trigger Showdown, allowing Wyatt to attack with yet another undefended Fan the Hammer. A bit weird for 2 undefended attacks to only deal 2 damage, which I guess is a bit lucky for Rosie honestly. It's not even like a regroup that gets you something by winning with it. Those are basically 2 blank ones. Rosie attacks first action with Overrun enhanced by Sedgley Fist Gun. Wyatt did hop 1 space closer to Rosie with Showdown earlier for this to be possible. Maybe the idea was to bait Rosie to overextend here. However, Overrun attack lets Rosie move 3 spaces after, so it didn't really work out. Invino Veritas is played, which isn't possible as it's a Doc card. Notably, he does stay in the same zone as a soon-to-be ranged Rosie. Rosie shrugs and attacks with a D-Day into a gunfight at OK Corral. Gunfight is a weird card, in that it can be incredible in specific situations and so bad in many others. As a defense, it hurts Wyatt as much as it does Rosie. Rosie attacks with a 6 value Full Metal into yet another gunfight. Wyatt takes 4 damage from combat, then 2 more from gunfight. This means Rosie has won the game. However, it doesn't seem like Rosie is done just yet. She attacks again with a We Can Do It just for good measure. Poor Wyatt is at -6 after that post-defeat beatdown. An interesting set of games here, with the winner being whoever went first both times. Position can be really important in Unmatched, and this video was a good example. A few errors here and there, but I believe this was actually their first playthrough, so it's not that bad. I also don't think it affected the winner of the game both times, so it's fine. Once again, thanks to Sean for sending this video over to me, as I still don't have a copy of Stars and Stripes myself. He also makes Unmatched content over at his Facebook page, link in the description below. I also made a video with John Henry vs George Washington, check that out if you're interested. Lastly, I did recently open up YouTube memberships here at my channel. If you want to see any specific offline video matchups, I can take suggestions from there. See you guys next time.